Sup everybody, welcome to Eyes on Indies, where I try to shine a little bit of light on some indie titles out there that you may or may not have been aware of. To support and keep more of these videos coming, thumbs up, check out the Patreon for support, or maybe buy a little bit of merch, and definitely wishlist a couple of these indie games. You can see links in the description if you want to check them out. First up, A Hero's Rest by Vandergan Games. To ensure the success of your hero faction, you have to construct stores, create goods with hundreds of customization choices, and carefully manage your resources. Experience the fantastic world as the owner of a medieval town complete with a fair share of heroes and monsters. His Majesty the King has entrusted you with protecting his realm from the many dangers that lurk in the world. Here, you're going to play the part of a fantasy town's proprietor, tasked with finding new heroes, allocating scarce resources, and making sure that your stores have everything your adventurers need to succeed. It's like a reverse dungeon master. In A Hero's Rest, you're going to need to use all your managerial savvy to increase the town's prosperity while also satisfying the wants of your heroic citizens and the king so they can continue to go out and take on successful quests. But this isn't just one shop. You're going to build many shops across multiple landscapes and cozy little taverns to huge training grounds. Each shop brings a boon to your town, providing you with new ways to gather resources or interact with the heroes that are coming through your town. Outfitting your shops with necessary upgrades and decorations to push your town's popularity to new heights. And as they upgrade, so too do your heroes and their ability to go on quests. And it's also good because they happen to be pretty damn stupid. So they have a mind of their own and they have little regard for their safety. It's your job to actually keep them alive with those items. Send the heroes on quest to gather resources for you to overcome the dangers that threaten your town and bring it back so you can upgrade. While supposedly coming out here in just a couple days, regardless of when it does, this is a title I think you should check out. I love these kind of reverse dungeon master titles, and the idea of trying to keep them alive as they continue to lemming-like go out there and get themselves killed, that's awesome to me. Next up, Paper Cut Mansions by Space Lizard Studio and Thunderful Publishing. A roguelike with a horror twist, Paper Cut Mansion places players in a world where everything is fashioned, well, out of paper. It'll be your job to piece together this mysterious background of every single floor and what's happened there. In addition, the mansion's inhabited by a group of mysterious people who may help or hinder you as you progress through the run, depending on the circumstances. It is a bit roguelike. The game's mechanics were designed to encourage repeated playthroughs, and the game's eerie and fascinating storyline is going to unfold as you progress through it. Several endings are also going to be available depending on how well you play. The developers have made sure that the game's logic puzzles are there to consistently challenge players and their brain power. Before each run, the player can gain new equipment, tweak their existing pieces to fit their playstyle, and go back in. Now, over the course of several playthroughs, Paper Cut Mansion, you're going to be able to actually develop a unique strategy for tackling these randomly generated challenges that are going to occur each time. And the game is wild. There's different dimensions, the limbic system. There's all kinds of portals on each level that'll have you traveling through different dimensions and going to unique places. The house is filled with enemies, clues, mysteries, missions, treasures, and logic puzzles. It is one of those unique titles that from the very moment you see it, you know that something really weird is actually occurring. They've also stated that around 27 possible endings are experienced throughout the game. So the idea of, like I said, returning to it shouldn't be one that's very bothersome. It actually looks like a title you're going to want to play at least a couple times to get the full story. Next up is Astragalus by Acme Game Studio. This is an action RPG drawing its inspiration from Greek and Roman mythologies, takes players on a perilous adventure, and does look a bit like Immortals Phoenix Rising. So if you notice that, you're not the only one. The city-state of Athens is magical and a wondrous place, architecture and design influenced by classical Greek and Rome. The environments are both beautiful and dangerous, from mist-covered bazaars, alleys, to sewers, cryptic woodlands, and the outskirts of the city. It is a combat-based game, so despite all these awesome-looking places, the city is not safe at any time. As you go through the game, you're going to face off against 60 different enemies and 22 bosses, each with their own special attack patterns and special abilities. To do all this fighting, you take control of Hilda, who's a teenage warrior of the Northwind Legion, as she travels to this cursed city in search of her missing father. It combines elements of Souls-like for some of the battle, as well as a good balance between challenge and freedom of exploration. As you're exploring along the city and fighting all the enemies, you're trying to discover what exactly has caused the city's curse. You can also create new combinations and swap out any weapons on the fly. You can carry all kinds of different weapons in your arsenal, and they've already got a New Game Plus mode if you want to go through this again with the items that you've collected originally. The combat looks sweet with an oddly cartoony style to it, but an aim on difficulty that's harder and more refined and defined than Immortals Phoenix Rising, but it doesn't appear to be as crushing as, let's say, a Dark Souls would be. It also appears to require a lot from the gamer, as the enemies have different weapons, environmental attacks, special attacks, and all sort of surprises, but it doesn't look like it's going to hinge on that crushing bit of consistently going back and having to relearn and relearn. One of those games that is probably trying to parse the line a little bit more than some other titles when it comes to mimicking everything that makes a Dark Souls style game be excellent. I can't wait to see this. Curse of the Stars is coming out very soon, and Acme Game Studio looks like they probably have a hit on their hands. Speaking of another hit, and a game that probably you know everything about it when I just say its name, Squirrel with a Gun by Daniel D. Few games need nothing more than just saying that name. Being a squirrel with a gun, it's challenging, rewarding, and, well, here you go. You can see the footage. The gameplay of Squirrel with a Gun is mainly focused on free running around, being a squirrel with a gun, and shooting people. Use a wide variety of weaponry in your defense against agents who appear out of nowhere. Disarm them by deflecting their up-close attacks with impeccable timing, and then shoot them. Your innate ability is to climb and jump like a squirrel to get through the levels. Make even larger leaps against the recoil of your weapon. Get a squirrel's eye perspective from the area around the battle's locations. One of the things I like about Squirrel with a Gun is it reminds me a little bit of Goat Simulator, where an initial idea seems so profoundly odd that you think there's not a lot that can be done with that, but a developer looks at it and says, actually, if you parse this out and you break it down and start to look at it, there are a ton of different things you can do that not only play with mechanics that players are originally accustomed to, but also offer a number of gameplay surprises. Squirrel with a Gun appears to actually be doing that, and might be one of those titles that's a bit more surprising than that very in-your-face name actually seems to be. And here's another title pretty much with what its name is right in the title, Potionomics from Voracious Games. Your late uncle left you as apothecary business and a massive amount of debt. It's time to start the kettle, boil some stuff up, and sell it to people who are probably not very smart. In this story-driven deck-building business simulator, you have to design your own shop, recruit heroes to gather materials, make friends with or fall in love with fellow merchants who pick up new bargaining techniques, and go head-to-head with other merchants as a potion maker. Sylvia, a poor witch, must take over the family business after the tragic death of her uncle. You have to continue your uncle's tradition by running that potion shop. And a little bit like Heroes Rest, once again we get a title that has that merchant simulator built on top of so many other elements of these games. You have to go out, pick the finest components to elevate even the most simple of the potions that you have to a level of excellence required, and then you can sell it to the most discerning of clients. And many of those clients are characters going out on role-playing adventures, taking on quests, monsters, probably doing some puzzles, and you're making these potions for them. The better they do, the better you do, the better you can do, and then the better that they can do. It's a never-ending cycle of making potions. Looks awesome, a bit like Hogwarts, mixed with a city builder. I can't wait to check this one out. I like these kind of games, and they usually end up eating a lot of my time. Another game that looks like it might is 9 Years of Shadow by Halberd Studios. And this is a crazy 2D action game. A child's life and the world as we know it were permanently altered by a single tragic night of ancient magic. For the last 9 years, the whole planet's been shrouded in perpetual night, depriving plants and animals and people of their vitality, their zest for life, and their more precious commodity, which is hope. Numerous courageous individuals have attempted to explore the tainted depths of Talus Castle, the long-abandoned orphanage from where the curse has actually emanated. Except for one, they've all been a failure. And of course, you're going to be that one. With nothing but your halberd and your nerves, Europa sets out on a perilous mission, penetrate the castle, discover the cause of the darkness, and then beat the hell out of it and restore color to the plains before it's too late. Europa can't take on this journey by herself, though. Her only hope is also having a charming magical bear named Apino, who has the power to heal, cleanse the taint, and defend his comrades that travels along with her. This has some fantastic platforming and attacking you can already see in the videos here. Can't wait to check this one out. And this next one just looks off the wall. Angerfoot by Free Lives. There's no slowing down. You got strong bass lines and a stronger set of ankles combining together to create a game called Angerfoot. Smash through the jittery reality of Shit City, yes, that's the proper name, and give the boot to a zoo of vicious criminals. As you progress through the game, you get new weapons, new sneaker unlocks, power upgrades. You'll be cleaning out the scums, slums, sewers, and skyscrapers while doing it all with your feet. Leave a path of burning doors, shattered bodies, and discarded energy drinks as you make your way to the exit by kicking and shooting and looting and scooting. You can cure the illness that's shit city by just stomping your foot on it. Put on a random assortment of tough shoes and battle your way through a crazy sequence of city neighborhoods. This is another one of those titles that you see and initially think, man, this just must be a joke title. But the developers have taken an idea and turned it into a full game, and it actually looks incredible. These are those kind of titles that when you look at it initially, you think to yourself, how is it that they're going to make something depthy or something that I'm going to want to play for longer than 20 or 30 minutes? Well, Angerfoot, probably that game. Another game that has a lot of anger to it, but this time mostly guns, Trepang 2. This is by Trepang Studios. You take on the role of a deserter from the army who has no recollection of their prior lives, but is endowed with extraordinary powers. You're hell-bent on getting your hands on some payback, and nothing's going to stand in your way. Give the bad guys a taste of their own medicine by throwing lethal punches, moving stealthily in the shadows, and using explosive weaponry, or a combination of all of those. You're freed from a tightly guarded black site by an unknown gang. While you may have lost your memory, your fighting skills seem to be greatly improved. You can retaliate, uncover the truth, solve some puzzles, kill some bad guys, and take out foes far deadlier than even you are in this game. Learn to control your superhero speed and strength so that you can easily dispatch waves of highly armored mercenaries. Use invisibility to sneak up on your foes, snap their necks in unexpected movements, and slow down time to avoid rapid-fire gunfire. Here's the thing, and what you're probably seeing right now in the footage, particle effects that are to die for. They're out of control. Insane explosions, blood boiling, grenades given, and people dying all around you. It looks insane to me. These are the kind of games I really do enjoy that just go that one step over, a little bit like the original Max Payne did, where items are flying around you, and sometimes you're like, is this realistic? But it doesn't matter, because it looks awesome, and it's fun. And that's Trepang in a nutshell. Or Trepang 2. Honestly, I just like saying Trepang because I'm probably saying it wrong, but Trepang. Next up, Morbid Metal. So you can assume the form of any one of several playable characters and unleash devastating combinations on your foes in this action, roguelite, hack and slasher. You can switch between characters in mid-battle to unleash full potential as you battle waves of lethal robots and formidable monsters. In Morbid Metal, a fast-paced roguelike, players may instantly switch between 4 playable characters. Each one has their complete own set of active powers and signature combat styles. Kill your foes in style by quickly switching between them, combining their powers, and moving on. The game looks wicked and fast, slow motion, light swords, a mix of Asian mythologies, neon behemoths made of more metal than an entire motor vehicle, and all of them blasting it out in places that look like they are from the most depressed Kung Fu Panda fan art ever. I love the idea of this title. It looks awesome the way the combat ends up blasting out. This is one of those titles that mixes multiple different fictions together and somehow comes out of the other side without looking like a complete disaster. How that all plays together and if it fits together, I don't know, but it does look like in the footage this will be one of those titles that looks like it will. I love the different ways in which you can teleport towards the enemies and the different moves that we're already seeing from the playable characters. But we're not done. Navalis. This is from 505 Games and Ion Lands. You may not know this, but I dig me some cyberpunk. I love it, and Ion Lands look to be aiming directly for that. This is an ancient city, a metropolis that reaches from the ocean to the skies. It's a great place to start a company, and that's what you're going to do. You run a restaurant or a nightclub, make friends and enemies, shop for, make and furnish all of your different rooms, go fishing, maybe even fall in love. It is a weird-styled cyberpunk RPG business simulator. You've arrived in the city. Cyberpunk Metropolis is a harsh environment in which to try to make a living, but that's your job. Organ harvesting gangs are after you. The corpse will penalize you for breathing, and all the while the ground is shifting beneath your feet. It's possible that the area may swallow the city tomorrow. Therefore, you should try to get your money's worth today by building up a business around you. But it's not just the same thing. A food shop? Sure. Noodle stand? Go for it. Stim store? Might as well. These are all good places to start. Rise up the ranks to a point where you can then afford to open a bar, restaurant, or nightclub. In time, you'll have every club in the city. You're going to be the star of the show tonight, or you'll be dead. How do you spend your time in the city is up to you. You can build that company, interact with a wide variety of interesting NPCs, make friends and enemies, face the perils and wonders of a cyberpunk voxel city in a one-of-a-kind slice-of-life simulation featuring a realistic weather simulation, day-night cycles, and really probably the first game that allows you to build your own basically Gold's Gym steroid shop in a cyberpunk world and also sell some wicked-ass noodles from the back. RPG Shop Simulator, Cyberpunk, Stims. There isn't another S there that I can add. Count me in. And that's it for now. There's actually a lot of indies in this list, as well as the last two, that I really do look forward to. The idea of all of these shopping simulators revolving around helping out characters around you doing things, that's something that I really have enjoyed in the couple of times we've seen it in other games. So to see two on this list is fantastic. But also, you know what, selling some steroids as well as some wicked ass noodles, that also entices me. So there's some cool games here, and I get it, a lot of these don't have very particular dates. Most of these are from Steam, so you'll have to go there. Links are always in the description. That's the first place you'll need to go. And I know people want to see all kinds of crazy stuff and transforms and transitions between all of these, as well as splashes for all the games. Right now they're just going to be in the description because I am busy reviewing 8 games, and so the idea of getting this out at all, or sitting here and editing it and possibly not getting it out, there's really no choice. These are titles you should definitely check out. Links are in the description. Hope you guys have an awesome time, and if you want to, you know what, hey, give the video a thumbs up. Check out the channel. You guys can support me continuing to do videos like this and finding some of the best indies, some of the best AA's and AAA's, and reviewing games with my own hard-earned cash just like yours. I don't get free games, and if a developer does give me a code, guess what? I buy the game anyway and give it away to somebody, so my cash is on the line just like yours. Come on by the Discord if I've saved you some money or warned you away from a bad game, or buy some merch. We got some wicked-ass shirts that are up there. Well, I think they're wicked. Maybe they look like absolute shit, but to me, I think they look awesome. Anyway, that's it for me. Peace out. I hope you enjoy your week. Stay tuned for more videos.